while the are-comparable approach will certainly work, it has a number of limitations, which we'll detail now and fix using something known as a comparable. So there's two big issues with are-comparable. One is it requires us to do this awkward casting to and from the object class. So for example, in the compare to method, which takes an object, we have to cast that to a dog before we can compare sizes. Likewise, when we compute the maximum in some useful class, like say maximizer, we have to take the object that's returned and turn it back into a dog. So that's awkward. The second and larger problem is that no existing classes actually implement are comparable, right? So we can't use maximizer on .max on things like strings. We would need to somehow edit the string code, or we would need to create a extension of the string class that is also are comparable, and that's a bit of a mess. I guess likewise, there's no existing classes that use are comparable. So for example, there's no built-in max function in Java that knows how to use are comparables. So if we want max or min or median or whatever, we have to write it ourselves. So unless you intend to rebuild the entire Java standard libraries, are comparable is not a great approach, though it is a good didactic thing. Now luckily, early in Java's history, the need for a comparable interface was recognized, and instead of it being are comparable, you and I, there is a interface just known as comparable. So in the modern era, how the comparable interface looks like is something like this. Instead of being public interface are comparable, it's public interface comparable with a generic type parameter. And so that's nice because it means that instead of taking any arbitrary object, you can only pass the specific type of object that's specified in the generic type parameter, and therefore you don't have to do that weird casting. And so this is something that tons of real Java code uses. This is extremely common and is nicer. So let's see how we can use it to make our code better. So I'm going to go into the dog class, and I'm going to say instead of are comparable, I'm going to say comparable, and I'm going to specify a type. I'm going to say I want to be able to compare myself to other dogs. So now, instead of object O, I'll put dog, dog, and I can delete this line entirely. Except I misspelled dog. Okay, there we go. So that has changed our dog class, and now everything should work just the same, except what? Implements are comparable. I have compare to. Dog launcher is unhappy though. Let's see why. Are comparable. Oh, we didn't change maximizer. So when we go into maximizer, no longer does it take comparables, but now, or no longer does it say are comparables, but now comparables. So now we can run this code, and it should work fine. We can print out this dog, although we see it's not very interesting. Now there's still one little issue that we're not going to talk about how to resolve today, which is that we cannot do dog d equals maximizer max dogs, because this right here, of course, is a comparable, not a dog. So for now, we do need a cast. Now there is a trick you can do in Java that we'll discuss in a week or two, where you can change this method in a certain small way so that it does actually return a dog instead of a comparable, but that's not for today. So in effect, what we've done is instead of having the dog class implement our comparable, the dog class implements this comparable dog interface that's built into Java. So we made this up, so it's not very general, it's not as good, and Java provides this beautiful built-in interface. Okay. So what's great about this? Well, of course, lots of built-in classes implement comparable, like strings implement comparable. In fact, also, lots of libraries use the comparable interface. So there exists, for example, a library known as arrays, and you could do arrays.sort, provide an array, and it will actually sort that array. Now, in this case, it seems a little strange that I've sorted an array of dogs and then assigned it, because this is a bug in the slide, damn it. But, you know, we're going to roll with it for now. So in this way,